Hi there folks, my name is Rich Burtis. I'm a Power Platform consultant based at Datacom, Christchurch, New Zealand. And today I'm going to give you a quick overview of a smartphone app we've developed as a proof of concept for running in multi-language support. So what we have is it's a health assessment type form. Could be any type of form, right? It could be a tourist information gathering, it could be a shop survey, wherever you may have people with different languages coming into your environment, and you'd like them to fill out the form for you. Like, you don't necessarily have to fill it out for them, they could actually do it from a console, but they could pick their own language and submit their language submit the form in their language of choice and have translation happen on the other side. So as an overview, the languages supported here are English, Chinese simplified, and Maori. New Zealand's got two languages, English and Maori, or two recognised languages, I should say. But unfortunately, whilst Microsoft has a translation service that's native to PowerApps, which we can use for the Chinese piece, Maori isn't at this point in time, so we have to use another API to pull in information about for the translation. So we're using Google, so this app combines the Microsoft Translation Service and Google Translation Service into one app to make it really easy for a user to fill out. And so to click you through, what I'll step through, just show you how that looks, and then show you a bit of the formulas that are used. So we go to English, we can see this assessment, jump back into Chinese, again assessment, and Maori, again an assessment. I'll just jump back to English, click through, so we start the process of filling out the form. I've got these various things I might want to monitor as I'm doing an assessment, say out in the field, and then these variables will work right through the app. So if I switch that to Chinese, I've got those variables running here as well, and also jump out in the calendar as well, which is pretty cool. Within the date control, I can only really use the Microsoft Translation Service. I can't use Google for that at this point. So if I jump into Maori for it, we can get the phrases for the different monitoring types. But if I jump into the calendar control, I still have the English version at this point in time. So it's only one slight piece. So as I select through here, I can grab clients, grab their information, it'll pull up their information. I'm not going to show that bit, but again, I've got my yes/no answers for my different elements. Again, jumping really easily, really quickly, actually, a dynamic translation on the fly, and then back into English. Let's say I'm more short of breath than normal because I'm doing a presentation, and no, I haven't been weighing myself lately because I already know my weight. We'll just jump through, and then what I'll show you in here. This is just an add-in to this little particular piece of thing. So if we put in an expression, we can translate it. What I'm going to do here is translate into Maori and into Chinese at the same time. The translate button will call a flow to call the API for Google, and the translation for Chinese will just use the native Microsoft translation service. So everybody knows that expression, obviously, but there we go. Got that back in Chinese pretty quickly, actually, from the service from Microsoft. It's really good. And the translate piece, we go to flow, push the button, get a return back into the Power App to present the information. And the reason they're showing this is important, possibly, if I fill this out in my native language, so I could basically be filling the app out as I'm working through it, and if I've selected the variable for a particular language, I could know that, and then rather than have it translate on the submit button, I could convert that language back into another language, so that whoever was receiving the data or the information could have both a copy of the original source language and a translated version. And again, you've got to be careful, because translation service will have it will be close, but it may not be 100%. So it's just a word of caution, but that does work pretty well. Skip through, get to the end here. Again, showing how it all works dynamically. It's really great. Again, more questions about my weight, but I'm not going to worry about those. And if I'll just jump back into Maori for the finish, so I can tikkun it, and there it is, submitted and done. Now, what I'll do is I'll step back through some of how the app is configured, and see if that makes sense to different users. So what we did for the English to Maori, we've got the API running for the translation piece, but to speed it up during the actual questions, we know the questions, so we already know the text for the questions, so we can run those through a translation service before we need to have the app running, right? So they can live in a table on start. And so then if I jump back out of here, yep, I already know that's going to happen. We jump to the home screen. So if I'm going to select Maori on select, I'm going to set a variable, right? Language choice MI, that's the Google expression for it. And then down here for the actual piece of the text, what we have here is, if the language choice is MI, then go to a table we have in the system, like a data table, which is just like a collection, but do a lookup on that collection. Grab question 1, because you know that's the number 1, and present me the Maori version. And again, if I'm selecting English, grab English instead. But for Chinese, I could have the Chinese in there as well, but for this demonstration I'm just putting in a dynamic translation at runtime. And then Chinese simplified is ZA Chance, and then grab that, but also go back to my data table and get the information from the English side and just push that straight back into Chinese. So that's how that one works. To show you what a data table would look like, we're doing this on start. I do like marking up PowerApps to make sure you've got everything you need in here. And then a data table is pretty much a collection. So we give it a name, and then I have my different elements, my questions, my Maori, my English, and I just run through that, and I've got a whole bunch of other stuff like getting my user profile photo as well. So that's how you can make it work. For the translation piece, we call, so on selecting the button, sorry, oh no, that one, make sure you go to that. On this one, basically the PowerApps triggers, we grab the text to translate, which is the field that we're going to send. We select the source language, which again we're sending to the Google API, specify the target languages, these are all the variables we're sending, our API key, send an HTTP request to the translation services, and then get a response back again from the body, and then push that back into the PowerApp. So again, I'm not covering that in too much detail for this particular presentation because I want to show it at Dynamics Saturday. So in here with the translation piece, again, run it. And we're basically grabbing a collection. This is the name of our flow translation service. Sorry, that's the collection translation run here for the flow. Grab that back and put that back into a text box here. I've got a little red mark there because I haven't put any text in here yet, which I'll do. Oops. Let's do that. No, doesn't want to play. Let's just do that. Again, so that's hello, and my red X will be gone, but then we'll just translate that up, and hello in Maori is hello. Oh, sorry, I'm in Maori, so I need to switch it. Sorry, let me change that. There we go. I've got in here some triggers, so if I am submitting the form in Maori and I put in what we would assume would be once, let's push this here, let's do that. So, oops, there we go. Nice morning. So it's yeah, again, not especially exactly what I wrote, but it's enough of the language that can come back so that it is understood. But yeah, to then switch it back to English. If I do nice morning, we should see the same expression back. But again, this is doing a call off to Google and back, so slightly different again there, but also presenting what we see in Windows. So that's a very quick overview of this particular app we've been testing out. And I wanted just really to highlight the whole multilingual piece that is really, really easy and accessible in a PowerApp now. There's a lot of possibilities you can use it. Depending on what your country, whether it's got dual language by default, or whether you have a lot of tourists come in, or a lot of immigrants that come and need help with the language initially, there can be a really, really easy method that if you've already got an Office 365 tenant that you can start using for free, pretty much. I've probably covered with your license already, so yeah, go for it. And if you have more questions, please come to the Dynamics Saturday in Christchurch next month. Thanks for your time.